Right. Let's see this question from one of the past papers from year 2020, Math GCSE High Tier Paper 1, Non-Calculator. So the question says that we need to find out the angle x in this right angle triangle where the sides are 9 centimeters and 18 centimeters. So uh, most of the time the students get perplexed about what method to use in this type of question, whether to use Pythagoras or something else. So first of all, we need to understand that if you use Pythagoras theorem, we can't calculate the angles. Okay, so Pythagoras always gives you a side of a triangle. So this gives you an indication that why we can't use a Pythagoras in this question. Okay, now if not Pythagoras, then what to use? So here we introduce SOHCAHTOA. Okay, now what SOHCAHTOA says that it gives you the relationship between three trigonometrical entities, which is sine, cos, and tan. So here we see that S stands for sine, C stands for cos, and T stands for tan. Okay, now OH, O is the opposite side, H is the hypotenuse, A is the adjacent hypotenuse, O is the opposite, and A is the adjacent. Now we will try to understand how we will decide that which is an opposite, which is an adjacent, which is a hypotenuse. Okay, now we can see that the angle in question, okay, so the angle in question is angle x. So any side opposite to angle x will always be the opposite side. All right, now the side adjacent to the opposite side will always be adjacent. Okay, now you can ask that, okay, why this is the adjacent, this is also the adjacent, then why this is not the adjacent, and why this is the adjacent? Okay, so the answer to the question is, in a triangle, the longest side will always be hypotenuse. Okay, now we can clearly see that out of these two sides, this is longer and this is shorter than this. Okay, now it definitely gives us a hint that, okay, if it is longer and if it is shorter, then definitely this cannot be the hypotenuse. Okay, now that's the reason why this will be the adjacent. Okay, now we got opposite, we got adjacent, so definitely the remaining or the leftover is our hypotenuse. Okay, now we have, so this is one of the most important, and students usually get confused that how to locate the hypotenuse, opposite, and the adjacent side. Okay, now since we have identified all the three sides, now we will simply see which trigonometrical entity to use, whether to use sine, whether to use cos, and whether to use tan. Now sine rule says that opposite over hypotenuse, cos says that adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan says that opposite over adjacent. Okay, now what we got adjacent and hypotenuse. So which condition satisfy? Okay, our cos condition satisfy, because that only has the adjacent and the hypotenuse. Okay, see, you don't have an opposite, you have an adjacent, so this can't be the right trigonometrical entity to calculate. You don't have the opposite, you got the adjacent, so this can't be used. You have the adjacent, you have the hypotenuse, so we can use. Just what you need to do, so cos of x is equals to adjacent 9 over 18. So cos of x is equals to, so it's a non-calculator, so 9 over 18 is 0.5. So see, cos of x is equals to 0.5. So what will be x? X is equals to cos inverse of 0.5. X is equals to cos inverse of 0.5, or cos of 60 degree is equals to 0.5. Okay, so x is equals to 60 degrees. Okay, so our answer will be 60 degrees. So value of angle x is 60 degrees, right?